Peace. I would like to welcome you all to His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj's daily online classes. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. My humble obeisances to you. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. So we'll be continuing with the overview sessions of Bhagavad Gita, and today's sessions will be given by His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Prabhupada. So we will be summarizing chapter 12. I will share the screen.
This is chapter number 12, continuation of the overview of the Bhagavad Gita. This is a very essential part of the practice of Krishna consciousness. And that unless we have an understanding of Bhagavad Gita, we can't really understand higher spiritual principles. The basic principles of the execution of Krishna consciousness are described in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is the most authoritative and comes from the Supreme Lord himself. And the explanations on the text are given by His Divine Grace, H.H Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, which he is a unalloyed devotee of Lord Krishna, empowered to preach Krishna consciousness around the world. And he is known as Bhakti Vedanta. That means he has both knowledge and devotion. And his knowledge, particularly in Bhagavad Gita, is very nicely presented without any contradictory statements in regard to what Shri Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. His Bhagavad Gita is the most authoritative because prior to Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita in the world, there were almost 700 other editions of Bhagavad Gita, and hardly anyone was practicing Bhagavad Gita in a regular way. Only when Prabhupada's Gita as it is came out, then it was understood that here is the real explanation of Krishna's statements on the science of bhakti, as he describes in relationship to himself, the supreme absolute truth, living entities, jiva souls, the time factor, which, or we might say material energy, the three modes of material energy, the time factor which governs the activities of the three modes of material energy, and ultimately karma. These are the five essential principles, but in there are different aspects of each of these categories. The first section of Bhagavad Gita deals with mostly karma yoga. We have to understand that Bhagavad Gita is bhakti yoga in essence, but there's a thread, not a thread, there is an emphasis on karma yoga in the first 6 chapters, bhakti yoga in the second 6 chapters, and jnana yoga in the last 6 chapters. But the thread of bhakti is found through all. Somadatri, close your thing. Yeah, so therefore, now we are at the last chapter in the section of bhakti, which is devotional service. It's the shortest chapter in the Gita, but it's power packed with a lot of essential principles that sum up the whole process of devotional service. So we'll begin on the Gyantamidandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshun Militani Natasma Shiva Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Preparation of the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurani Pujani Namaste Sri Bhavi Asyatya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Begin the slides. This is again the deities that we've been getting darshan from every chapter. This is she's, from what I understand, Prem Kishori knows better than I do. This is Radha Govinda from Mangalore. Is that correct?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, yes.
Okay, good. Beautiful deities. Here is an overview of the previous chapter given by Vrindavan Nath Prabhu. Arjuna requests Krishna to show his universal form. The Lord describes it, Arjuna's vision, Arjuna's experience, Krishna's response, Arjuna's prayers, and what is pure bhakti, and what is and how it works. Here's the overview of this chapter. Krishna speaks about bhakti over impersonalism in the first 7 verses, the different stages of devotion, and the last, what is endearing to Krishna, those qualities that are used in the process of bhakti. Arjuna Vacha Evam Satata Yukta Yehi Bhaktistvam Payupasate Ye Chapyak Saram Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vitamaha. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect? Those who are properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? So here Arjuna is setting the stage for a discussion between the two not contending, but two aspects of spiritual that are both prominent, the impersonal or the personal, bhakti yoga or that yoga that is engaged through jnana yoga. Next verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vaishya Mano Ye Mam Nityayuktam Upasate Sardaya Bharayo Vekas Te Me Yuktatamo Mataha. So Krishna says, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engage in worship me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be most perfect. So he sums everything up in one verse. Fix your mind on his form, worship him with as much faith and devotion as you can, and that is perfection. Next verse. These are 2 verses, 3 and 4. But those who fully worship the unmanifest, and now he turns to the impersonal, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception, the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. So now Krishna gives the indirect process on how one can achieve him. And then he explains, of course, it's very difficult because one has to fix their mind on what? He doesn't really say. You can't fix your mind on something that's all pervading, inconceivable. There is no object for fixing the mind on. Unless the mind is fixed on something, it will continue to travel. But he says it's possible those who engage in the yoga process, which he goes back to the reference to the 6th chapter where he talks about the meditation process, the Ashtanga yoga process. Now, next verse. Then he sums it up here. Klesho dikkataraste sham avyakta shaktate chetasam avyaktihi gatir dukkam dehavabhir avyapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Doesn't say troublesome, very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who embody the embodied conditioned souls. Find a place somewhere in the Himalayas or in some secluded area of holiness within the world. Sit and face the north. Sit in a raised position on a tiger skin with crucigrass, with your eyes half closed, meditating on, and then there's much more to it. There are yogis who would do it, and there's yogis who succeed on it, but they take sometimes a whole lifetime to do it. You can't preach this in this age. Nobody will even consider it. It's impossible, practically. But he says, it's possible, but very, very troublesome. And in a real sense, don't try it. He's discouraging us by this statement. Okay, next verse. The one who worships me, giving up all activities unto me, being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotion and service, and always meditating upon me, when it was fixed his mind upon me, O son of Prita, for him I am the swift deliverer of the ocean of birth and death. Now here he gives the formula for success. Worship me, perform activities with devotion to me, engage those activities. Think about me, meditate on me, keep your mind on me. And then I personally will come pick you out of this horrible material energy and bring you back to the spiritual world. Krishna assures. So if we follow the natural process as given by Krishna and the acharyas, Krishna does the work in the final session to make everything successful. He brings us back. We simply make the effort. You might even say, well, this is hard. It is for those who are still attached to this material world. For those who are not attached to this material world, who've given up all attempts to enjoy in this material world, who see the material world as simply an entanglement that causes one great amounts of suffering. And when they see the material world that way, and then they want to make perfection, here's what they do. They fix their mind on Krishna. And they engage in his pure service. Verse number 8. Now Krishna, this is called an Ananya Bhakti. It's another way to say pure Bhakti or unalloyed Bhakti. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live with me always without a doubt. So here, nice picture of Krishna with all his cowherd friends. They're all looking at Krishna. Every cowherd boy, wherever he is, all he sees is Krishna. And Krishna says, use your intelligence. in service to me, and you will live with me. Don't think whatever I say is less than what I actually say. Without a doubt, gives assurance. So this is pure devotional service. So after speaking about the pure devotional service and the impersonal, he goes back to the essence. But now some people will say, wow, this is really difficult. Fix my mind fully on Krishna. Use all my intelligence for him. Meditate on him, serve him. Well, Krishna gives some concession in the next verse. Oh, dear Arjuna, winner, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without a deviation, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti. In this way, you will develop a desire to attain to me. So he gives concession. All right, if you can't do that, follow the regulative principles as mentioned in the scriptures. Like the devotion describes those regulative principles. Some are principles to follow, others are activities to avoid. 64 regulative principles. Generally, the essence of the regulative principles is to glorify the Lord by chanting his holy name. Okay, so he gives some concession. All right, too difficult to fix your mind on harmony, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti as described by Shastra, as described by Guru. Then he says, if you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti, then just work for me. Because by working for me, you'll come to the perfect state. So he's giving another concession. At least do some service for me. At least you're gaining a foothold on the path. You're starting off. We hear say someone is doing some work on the temple. Okay. And he says, all that this is a confirmation coming from what chapter is this verse? Who knows? Devotees are out there. All that you do, all that you eat, all you often give away, all austerities may perform should be done as an offering to people. Where did you hear that verse before?
9th chapter, Guru Maharaj.
What verse?
27, 9.27, Maharaj.
27. All right. If you can't do all of these other things, then all right. Whatever you do it for me. Whatever you eat, offer to me. Whatever you give away, do it as whatever austerities you perform, do it as me. Unless you stay connected with me through your normal activities. Okay? If, however, you're unable to work in this consciousness, it gets even more concessional. Then try to act, giving up the results of your work and try to be self-situated. And he comes back to the karma yoga stage. All right. Work in the right consciousness and give up the results of your activities to me. Next verse, which is the summation. If you cannot take to this process, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. By such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So, all right, try to learn about Krishna, Jnana Yoga a little bit. You can't do that, at least you can meditate upon the Lord. At least try. Can't do that, and then whatever activities you perform, give up the fruits. And that way your mind will be somewhat peaceful. See how generous Krishna is. Can't follow Ananya Bhakti, then you can start somewhere. These are all starting places. These are not the goal. You have to remember that. These are places. So after describing, this is Jnana Yoga. After describing all of the different stages of bhakti, the different aspects of bhakti, then he goes on to describe in the next verse. So here's the progressive stages. Fix your mind on me, follow regular principles, work to move these along. Regular. The topmost stages, fix the mind, full devotion. One by one, he gives concession in this way. Okay. Now, verses 12 and 13, now he turns to the different qualities of the Vaishnava and explains what is the benefit of those qualities. One is non-envious, friend of everyone, does not think himself the proprietor, free from ahankara, equal in happiness to stress, always tolerant, self-satisfied, controlled, engaged in devotional service with determination. Mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to the Krishnas. Giving us some more of the principles that make up the process of devotion. So we should think how to cultivate these different qualities along with serving the Lord. It's not that you serve the Lord and don't cultivate the qualities. It's not that you simply cultivate the qualities and don't do service. You should combine these two things together, and that way you make, and as Krishna says, such a devotee of mine is very dear. Now you might say, well, yeah, that's nice. But what does it mean to be very dear to Krishna? Well, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the eternal, powerful force within existence that is the controller, maintainer, and ultimately the destroyer. He is the source of all happiness and knowledge, and he is ultimately the lover of all of those who engage in pure devotional service. So Krishna is everything. So you become dear to Krishna. What else can you aspire for? It's not very easy to become dear to Krishna, especially very dear, but he tells you how. So make a note of these qualities. These are very important. Next. These are the qualities again. Non-envious, satisfied, doesn't try to consider anything in this world to belong to him. Tolerant, never disturbed. So these are these qualities. Takes all sufferings as Krishna's kindness to avoid reactions. So devotee is happy simply by remembering Krishna and practicing devotional service, by cultivating these characteristics which are conducive to pure devotional service. Okay. Now he says, he for whom no one is put into difficulty, for who is not disturbed by anxiety, for steady in happiness and distress, is very dear to him. So he gives another formula for how to become dear to him. Not disturbed, doesn't put others into difficulty by their words, by their activities. Steady in happiness and distress. Happiness, distress comes. The devotee sees that these features of happiness and distress are just part of the waves of the constant movement of the material energy. They come and go. devotee somehow or other tolerates them and moves on. Okay. He's not dependent on the ordinary course of activities.
Make sure my stuff doesn't get packed in Zatara's cupboard, Lovey. Some of my stuff goes in there.
Yay, Hare Krishna. Who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and who does not strive for some result is very beauty. But Krishna is giving a whole series of statements on what are the characteristics that are very dear to him, who were exhibited by his devotee. Srila Haridas Thakur there with the prostitute. She came to make him fall down, but he gave her devotional service. He taught her the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He had no enmity towards her. Prahlad Maharaj, here, one who neither grasps pleasure or grief, laments or desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things is very deep. You notice the good sides are also renounced. Why? Because they are not really beneficial in the execution of devotional service, in the sense that the devotee doesn't get distracted by all the qualities of the mode of goodness. He's fixed in devotional service. And therefore, auspiciousness comes, inauspiciousness comes. He simply remains equipoised, indifferent. Okay, 18 and 19. One who is an equal friend of two enemies, one who sees friends and enemies, honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, always silent. Silent means not talking nonsense. He doesn't care for any residence, can live wherever the Lord wants him to live. Fixed in knowledge, engaged in devotional service. Again, Krishna sums up many of the qualities that are very dear to him. Okay, let's see a graph here, same thing. Okay. Going back over, we are 8 qualities mentioned in there. You see, Krishna, each time he speaks, he's adding more qualities to what is very dear to him. Next verse. He who follows this imperishable path of devotional service is completely engaged himself with faith, making me the supreme goal, is very, very dear to me. Now he doesn't say dear, he says very, very dear. Okay, text number 20 again. Okay, nice way to end. Again, the overview of the different stages, how Krishna breaks up the topics in this particular section. We will. So this chapter is called Devotional Service. He sums up the whole process there in different stages of the process, along with the qualities that are very dear to him by his devotee who serves him in devotion. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. That was a very wonderful, succinct explanation of chapter 12. So, dear devotees, we will open up the sessions for Q&A, questions and answers. A humble request, if you can turn on your cameras so that we can make the session more interactive, personal, that would be appreciated. You can ask your questions by raising your hand, or you can post it in the chat window where I can read it for you if you're in a position not to verbally say it. So Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead. You already have your hands up.
Thank you. Please
Thank
accept
you.
my humble obeisances, Gurudev. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is such a wonderful chapter on devotional service, and my mind was captured by your explanations. I still have some misconceptions about does not strive for some result. That part is a little unclear to me, because in Bhakti Yoga, we are always trying to achieve a goal. My focus should be better, my chanting should be better, my service should be better. So we are goal oriented and we are trying to achieve some result. So what exactly does it mean, does not strive for some result?
Material result.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, and in bhakti, when we strive for some result, we also realize and understand that the result is not up to us. You have to act like it depends on you, and you have to know it doesn't. So, but Krishna is talking about material results. So we want to increase the quality of our devotional service. But that's not results, that's just making our devotion more pure. That's all. It's all about bringing devotion to its level of perfection, which is ananya bhakti, or pure devotion or something.
Thank you, Maharaj. Namrata Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful chapter, Guru Maharaj. When Krishna says that one should be equal to friends and enemies, so I was just wondering how can we be equal to enemy as well? Because there's always some kind of bias is there, awareness is there towards enemies. So how do we understand this?
What's that verse from the 5th chapter? Did we learn that one? Vidya Vidya Sampane Gami Gavi Hastani Suni Chaiva Supakecha Panditat Samnagosha. When you see that whatever living entity exists, they are actually a spiritual being, part and parcel of Krishna. Bodies are different. Their activities are also different based on the body, based on the mentality. But therefore, we see them as spiritual beings. Now, it's not that you think, oh, yes, the devotee is nice and the tiger is also nice, so let me go embrace the tiger. That would be stupid. So we see enemies. Devotee doesn't make, and Prahlad Maharaj explains that friends and enemies are simply mental concoctions. He said that to his father, and his father accused him of siding with his enemy. He said, these are all mental concoctions based on my situation. Who's my friend and who is my enemy? Even friends are mental concoctions too. Not to speak about enemies, both. No one's a friend, no one's an enemy. Krishna is the real friend, and we see all other living entities as in relationship to our activities in devotional service. We serve those more advanced and hear from them. We make friends for those who are equal, and for those who are in a lesser position, we try to raise them up in Krishna consciousness. On the second class platform, Madhya, the devotee loves the Lord, makes friends with the devotees, preaches to the innocent, and avoids the atheists and the non-devotees, who may be enemies to others and to oneself. But the devotee doesn't make anyone their enemy. They simply avoid those who are mischievous. The devotee doesn't hate anyone. As Christ said, hate the sin, not the sinner. You're trying to discipline your child, you might get a little strong in your discipline, but it's not that you don't love your child, you still do, but what he's doing is not beneficial for him. Therefore, you take a strong disciplinary role. So there's no hate towards the child, but there is a hate towards what the child is doing or acting. So we separate. So the demons are just who they are. They might be considered to be the enemies of people in general. But at the same time, they're also covered by the material energy, the lower modes of ignorance and passion. But as spiritual beings, we see them in that way, and we avoid their association. So that's what it means to be equal to friends and enemies. But then on another explanation, Prabhupada says a devotee has no enemies at all. Someone will make the devotee an enemy, but the devotee will not make another person his enemy.
Thank you, Maharaj. That quite explains. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for asking a very, very relevant question. Applies to all of us. Prabhuji, Kodavati Prabhuji, you have your hands up. You want to go ahead and ask your question? Thank you.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
probably there.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Arun Gauranga and to assembled devotees here. Maharaj, in verse 8, it has been mentioned that just fix your mind upon me. And also Lord Krishna says that to engage all your intelligence in me. So would you please explain, Maharaj, so why he is stressing both mind and intelligence here? I mean, if we are putting our mind upon him, that means that we are fully, thinking of Lord Krishna, right?
Yeah, your intelligence is the active principle of everything you do. That means use your intelligence to worship him. Yep. If you don't know do you know the difference between the mind and the intelligence?
Not clearly, Maharaj.
Mind thinks, gets a feel for something, and then does it or doesn't do it. The intelligence is the discriminating factor. That's all. Intelligence is characteristic of determination and discrimination. The mind is thinking, feeling, and willing. It's a feature of the mind for the sake of discrimination and determination. That's the intelligence. That's
Thank you.
explained. The mind's in the mode of goodness, the intelligence is in the mode of passion. Intelligence is more the active feature of the mind. Mind can be very peaceful and serene without activity. You could be looking or meditating on a picture of Krishna and feeling very happy and peaceful through that meditation. That's the mind. If intelligent is thinking, how can I serve? That's the intelligence.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You also have a hands raised by Dr. Shaishani Mataji. Mataji, do you want to?
Hare
Go ahead.
Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, to Guru Maharaj and devotees. My apologies for the unmuting earlier on. Just to ask, this was a very good lecture. Thank you very much, Candramauli Swami. I think the devotional service is so important, and that's what I've realized as well as part of my practice. I just wanted some further explanation on text 12 from chapter 12. So in the purport on my book, page 514, I think, yeah, so I will just read it out. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the Supreme Soul, and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. So just some explanation on that, Guru Maharaj.
Which verse?
So in mine, it's chapter 12, text 12. It's a purport.
What are you reading from? Which Bhagavad Gita?
This one.
Oh, you're reading from the purport.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's one is not able to meditate when there are prescribed duties, is that it? Let's see, it's towards the end. All right. In summary, there are two processes, the gradual and the direct. That's the part. One may take to the step-by-step process or the direct path. Direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, and Krishna's explained both there. He gave you the direct. Just fix your mind on me, worship me with your intelligence, engage everything in my service. Yeah. The step-by-step process is follow the regulative principles. If you can't do that, then work for me. If you can't do that, you then cultivate knowledge. Yeah, so it's a summation of what he gave prior. He's giving you both processes. He's mentioning both processes again. There's some people who can't follow the direct one. Therefore, he says the indirect process is also good.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I just wanted some explanation about the indirect. So would we know whether we are taking a step-by-step or indirect, and how would we know each of the stages that we could be in if we're doing meditation and then achieving the super soul and then the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Well, the direct process is bhakti. The indirect process is jnana yoga, karma yoga, stanga yoga, different types of stages, which Krishna explains in those verses. He tells you. what is the indirect process? Direct process is chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, worship and think of him, engage in devotional service. The 9 angas of bhakti. These are the direct processes. We've been explaining these 9 processes through the last 11 chapters, and the indirect side by side.
So it doesn't matter which process we use.
It
It's
does.
all part. It does.
Yeah, we're engaged in the direct process. We have no interest in the indirect process
Okay.
because Lord Chaitanya is very merciful. If you want to go to the indirect process, it may take you many lifetimes.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's where the confusion, I was a bit confused about that because it said, yeah, therefore the indirect process is also good, but it's
Yeah.
not recommended. But it's not recommended. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's better than doing nothing. That's the whole point. And some people say, well, the direct process is too hard. So Krishna says, all right, well, there's another way you can approach me. It's less direct and it's more long-term.
Yeah. Yeah, because it says here, it is a direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take the direct method and surrender. Okay. So that's clear.
You can point to your nose directly, or you can put your hand around your head and try to catch your nose that way.
Yeah. And one more question, Guru Maharaj. So in terms of devotional service, just personally, I do want to offer service, and that's what I continually pray to Krishna for. So would you advise that that's one of the best ways to gain guidance about what type of devotional service? Because obviously there's so many different types of service, and everyone's suited in different types of service. We all have different skills, and this chapter explains it well, how to serve Krishna. So is there any specific advice or guidance regarding engaging in devotional service?
Services are equal. So you work under the guidance of the spiritual master. And if you have a particular preference to serve in a certain way, then you can use that talent, that ability to serve the Lord in that way. If you don't have any particular preference on how to serve, then you work under the guidance of the spiritual master who will engage you in some practical service. But he also may tell you what is best to you, how best you can serve.
Thank you. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for a lovely lecture.
Yeah. The spiritual master can see if the person is making advancement through the service or they're not making advancement, so he can guide them in a different service, or he can teach them how to perform their service better or properly. With service is absolute. Sorry about that. I'm getting diverted with my.
No, it's fine. Hope you feel better.
Well, this is the material world. Sometimes you're not.
Yeah. So with the devotional service, I think you've given a clear idea how to approach it, and I think that's quite useful. And I guess it's about different stages you go through in devotional service. So we all have to start somewhere and basically progress according to where our desire lies, and obviously where our interests, and obviously what Krishna wants at the end of the day, we'll serve Krishna in that way. So yeah, thank you so much.
The devotional service starts with chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Try to perfect your chanting, work on your chanting. Try to understand this knowledge philosophically. Associate with and serve devotees. Visit the temple, see the deities, and take opportunities to learn more about the whole process of devotional service. These are the basic things that we can all do.
Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Shridevi Mataji, you have your hands up.
Yes, please. Guru Maharaj, will you please kindly shower your mercy and explain the purport of 12, 18, 19, where it seems that one must renounce everything in order to become a pure devotee. It says that he should speak only of essentials, he's happy in all conditions, he does not care for any residential facility, he may sometimes live underneath a tree, sometimes in a very palatial building, he's attracted to neither. So these, and then he says over here, these are the descriptions of the qualifications of a devotee. But this is just to emphasize the fact that devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Without good qualifications, one cannot become a pure devotee. So does this mean one must be completely and totally renounced?
You don't understand.
Yes, I don't.
I'm telling you, if you engage in devotional service, you make progress towards developing your love for Krishna, then you don't care whether you're under a palatial building. These are byproducts that come automatically with advancement in devotional service. It's not that you have to plan to live under a tree or in a palatial building. You have to plan to, get a job and make a lot of money so you could give a donation to the. These are, as you advance in devotional service, you lose interests in the dualities of material energy. You see them for what they are. They're just different opposites of the same thing. Is dry stool any better than wet stool? Yeah, it is, but still it's stool. Why are you focusing?
Got it.
Why are you focusing on these other things and not on the process of bhakti?
Right, Guru Maharaj. Got it.
Prabhupada's explaining what are the results. That's all. These are the characteristics that come automatically as you make advancement in devotional service. And if they're not coming, that means you're not making advancement. You can understand how much you're making advancement by still how much you're attached to this material world. Okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
We love you very much, but we have to make sure you understand.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Your dull-headed disciple, what to do?
Well, that's a product of material existence, dull-headedness. So Prabhupada said, in the morning when you wake up, take a pair of shoes and beat your head with the shoes, and then you can chant Hare Krishna. At night, before you go to sleep, take a broomstick and do the same. And then you can chant Hare Krishna. So we don't condone dull-headedness as part of something that is acceptable. It's not allowed.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
So try to get rid of that adjective because it's contrary to making progress.
Thank you, Maharaj. We've got two hands raised. So we have Scarlet Mataji first and then Deepthi Mataji afterwards. So Scarlet Mataji, do you want to go ahead? Thank you.
Krishna, thank you very, very much for today. May I ask a question about the previous chapter? Is it okay?
Well, Vrindavan Nath is there. He can answer it. He gave the class yesterday. I don't see him online. Is he there?
No, Maharaj.
You can ask me. I'll give it a try.
Thank you very much. In chapter 11, verse 47, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that no one ever have seen me before you, my universal form. But then in another places, we know that Mother Yashoda and someone else have seen him before Arjuna. So how should I understand verse 47, please? Thank you.
Say again.
You mean the question?
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
It's okay. In chapter 11, verse 47, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, no one have seen me before in this way than you. But then in another places, we know that Lord Krishna has been seen in that form by Mother Yashoda. How should I understand verse 47, please?
Each universal display is unique. He doesn't reveal the universal form in the same way all the time.
Okay, thank you.
That was unique for Arjuna. Mother Yasoda, that one that was unique. Advaitacharya saw one that was unique. The Kauravas headed by Duryodhana saw one that was unique. They all saw the universal form, but all differently.
Thank you, Mataji. Deepti Mataji, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj, today's class is very good class. How to improve our bhakti in our life and what are the various ways. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for a good class. So my question is for the devotional service. So what is exactly a devotional service, Maharaj? Like if we are doing a service to our family members, and if we are thinking that they are our Krishna's child or like a Krishna's given, so whatever the service we are doing to them is also considered as a devotional service, or is the devotional service is something that only we go to temples and do a service? Is that called a devotional service? Just trying to get some idea.
Devotional service is for Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
These other forms of service that we perform to our family members, friends, and others have elements of devotion in it, but they're not considered to be devotional service. They're more like obligations, duties.
So I'm still not clear, Maharaj. Doing the service to Krishna means cooking for him and making sure that we are chanting. And I'm just trying to understand more in detail, like what is exactly comes under devotional service in our day-to-day life.
Whatever the spiritual master ordains, that's devotion.
Okay.
So you go to your spiritual master, says, how can I serve? And he gives you some service.
Okay.
If he doesn't give you some service, then whatever you do, if you go to the temple, Krishna's there, you do some service, that's devotional service. You chant the holy names, that's devotional service. If you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, that's devotional service. If you worship the deity, that's devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. Just wanted to get that clarified. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Mhm.
Any other further questions, comments, realizations? Mataji, you want to do the poll or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, all Rashtra Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. If there are no more questions, I want to do the poll quiz for today's chapter. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I'm going to launch the first question. Hope you are able to see. How does a pure devotee react to material loss or gain? Eleven out of 24. Devotees, please participate. Yeah. Fifteen out of 24. Okay, only 15 devotees. 62% participated. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll here. So let's see what is the correct answer. Yeah, the correct answer is self-control, neither rejoices nor laments, equipoised in difficulties. So all 15 by 15. Everyone got it right. Thank you. So we'll go to the next question. Second question. Who is very, very dear to Krishna? So here are the options. It's out of 24. 1 out of 24. 12. 13. 14, 15. Yeah. 16. Okay, 16 out of 24. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. So we'll see the result. The correct answer is follow this imperishable path of devotional service, making Krishna as the Supreme. Great. Everyone got it right. Thank you so much for participating. Prabhuji, you can take over. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Maharaj, if it's your permission, we can conclude today's session. Thank you, all devotees, for joining. Thank you, Maharaj. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Right.
Thank you very much for today.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Krishna Maharaj.
come to
Thank you
Mark.
very much, and thank you for the quiz.
Chapter 13 is called, is the most philosophical chapter in the entire Bhagavad Gita. So come for 13. It's a real philosophical explosion. It's, I think same story does it to Maya.
Yes.
You find it very deep. There's one devotee who actually took that chapter and did it as a separate book, that chapter alone, chapter number 13. Very powerful. Beginning of Jnana Yoga, but it has a lot of elements of bhakti, and it's quite interesting. So, bring your best intelligence tomorrow.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.